Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Your Mark on the World show. I'm your host, Devin Thorpe, and this episode is produced for Good Crowd Info, and our guest today is Danny Kelman, the CEO and founder of Crowdborders. Danny, welcome to the show.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate you having us on.
Well, we're excited to have you and appreciate you making the time for us this afternoon. You've got an interesting site for crowdfunding because you are doing donations, you're doing rewards, and you're spooling up to start doing equity and debt. This is a really interesting thing. You also, I should point out, have an interesting accent for a guy from Texas. Tell us a little bit about your site and how it is that you came to have this interesting accent.
Well, it's when we originally started, looking at, crowdfunding, we didn't really know about the industry. So when we started building, Crowdborders and the infrastructure and the network, we really wanted a place where everybody could go and do everything, similar to like an Amazon type model, just to allow, not only social connectivity, but also, for people to display all the good things they're involved in. For example, if I'm buying equity in a company, and also, I'm doing philanthropic efforts, here, there, and everywhere. So people want to be proud of that, and we really saw, is kind of pairing everything together and just having one site for people to log into, to not only connect with people, but to also invest, donate, and make money would really be the way forward of where crowdfunding is going.
Fantastic. And again, how did you get this interesting hybrid accent?
Well, it's nice. I'm from England originally, and then I moved out about 8-9 years ago. So it's our background. We're all from telecoms industry. So is looking at it is we look at networks, and really how we could bring a network to crowdfunding.
That's great. Now, your connection to England is pretty relevant in that England has far more liberal laws around equity and investment crowdfunding. So I understand you're spooling up to launch your equity and investment crowdfunding there in England too, right?
Yes, yeah, exactly. And we weren't really expecting the Texas laws to go through so soon. So obviously we're based in Texas at the moment, and we go back and forward, and we have a bunch of English campaigns. One quite prestigious this week is the Guards Museum of London, who are building a memorial, which is, Remembrance Sunday in England. And yeah, as we started building the equity part of it, what we're trying to do is build a way for brokers around the UK can log in a Crowdborder the second they become a Crowdborder, get registered. So we're trying to work with the financial authorities, saying what information would you like us to give you for this registration, and then really there's almost a crowdsourcing element to Crowdborders, which is is when you have a broker or somebody that's involved with a certain sort of financing, is he doesn't have to build his own platform anymore. He can just come into the network, join Crowdborders, and then connect, with businesses that are looking to raise money, hopefully locally, which people prefer. So there's that element. Everybody's talking about niche at the moment, and we really see niches. Yes, that's brilliant. That's the way people like to work with specialists, but people don't like to log into niche platforms. So it's pairing the businesses with a niche specialist, and the people who want to invest money with their companies who specialize in exactly what they're doing, but on a network where they can kind of see everything and work with everything in one place.
Great. Well, you are doing some remarkable things. What do you know about the Texas rules for crowdfunding?
Well, it's at the moment, it was quite interesting because we contacted them and asked them for an agent, because at the moment they keep saying the word portal or platform, and we're like, well, we're a network, so can you have a registered agent? So at the moment, it's pretty similar to the SEC, is up to $1 million can be raised in a year. Unaccredited investors can invest up to $5,000 over the year. So essentially, once somebody logs in a Crowdborders, they'd get their allotted $5,000 to invest in, and then if they want to go ahead and apply on there to become an accredited investor to invest more, they can do so if they qualify. So essentially anybody can raise money for a business as long as they're partnered with some sort of agent. So we're just in talks with them now, saying, do we have to be an agent as well as the other agents that they could possibly work with? So there's some brilliant platforms here in Texas that we've been talking to, saying, would you be interested in some, deal flow from crowdboarders, and how can we provide that? Because essentially, we want to be the network of crowdfunding, not necessarily the financial advisors in that sense.
Right, right. Well, it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. Certainly, it's exciting to think about finally bringing investment opportunities in startups and non-traditional investments to the masses. It's been a long time coming, and it will be exciting to see in Texas, because Texas is such a big state, more importantly in terms of population than geography, that it will give us a really good sample size to see what the issues really are with crowdfunding, don't you think?
Yeah, no, definitely, and that's why we're working on a site at the moment which should be up as the laws are fully determined, and it's sharесintexas.com. Just to, and we're in the Texas orange colors and all that brilliant stuff, and it's just really saying, oh, okay, this is legal now, and Texas has been unleashed to crowdfunding. So there's a few tabs, one being, investors, educating them on everything they need to know about the Texas laws, and then another one for businesses saying, okay, this is how it works, and this is how you use crowdboarders to do it. And then last but certainly not least is, the brokers and the potential agents saying, okay, this is how it's working. So is what we found is a lot of states that have adopted, equity crowdfunding hasn't extremely taken off. And it's simply because of that, being held back, that, okay, I have to go out, I have to build a platform, I have to, market it, I have to, do all these things and all these processes to get through, where we really want to be there saying, hey, go on crowdboarders, register, with the Texas authorities, and then you have everything in place. We take care of all the front-end marketing. You just do what you do best, which is knowing certain markets and how to raise money in them and what good ideas are. So I think that's set up to be a lovely partnership, which we're going to have with a lot of, Texas-based brokerage firms, and really, and also the platforms we've been talking to as well, as some of them are quite interested, going, oh, okay, if this is another thing we can work on, that'd be brilliant,
Absolutely. Tell us a little bit about some of the charitable campaigns that are running on the site now.
So we have obviously the Guards Museum of London, which is we just started what we call a salute selfie, which I just saw it in Scotland somewhere yesterday, with pretty much ex-military members who are saluting the fallen and then pretty much nominating other members. So this is there a burial site in Scotland on a mountain, so that's pretty interesting to see. Other than that, we're working with some local Dallas charities, everything from, working with a domestic violence charity that redecorates homes, and then also as well as there's this initiative here at the moment in Dallas to start to turn the local wildlife into food gardens. So they're like, we have all this grass everywhere, so what if we started planting food in it? And it's really every day is a new kind of idea that is really, what has become our crowdboarders lifestyle at the moment, which is just amazing, of going, oh, okay, what's going to come tomorrow, and then looking at it and going, wow, that's really cool, I never thought of that, and really just how can we help them get exposure, how can we, facilitate the network in a way that they can connect to the people on there that want to donate to what they're doing. So as we're trying to figure out the best ways to do that for now and then in the future also.
Terrific. One of the things that I've seen in some of the other platforms, even some that are not oriented toward social mission as a focus, we're seeing that on the equity side in Title II already and international markets, that enterprises that have some sort of social mission seem to be catching fire earlier, faster, stronger, if you will, than those that lack that. What do you think? Why do you think people engage with a cause so much more quickly than they do with a purely
financial?
Yeah, purely financial kind of return, exactly.
Well, I think it's really interesting. I think the brilliant thing about technology is it allowed businesses to expand really quickly, and I feel like now it's going backwards. It's allowing small businesses to, get more local and to get more compartmentalized. And I think it goes back to, natural philosophy of how a town was built. Is, you be there with the town and they go, okay, we want to build, a blacksmith, and they go, okay, do we need a blacksmith? Yes, we do. And then they do it that way. So I think it's really interesting how technology has kind of gone 360 in my mind, and that's why, crowdfunding and crowd borders is so passionate to me, because I'm like, that simple way of the world has kind of been lost, but I feel like it's going to pull it back, to a point where it's like somebody wakes up and they log into crowd borders and they go, okay, what's going on in my city that we need to help out with, and then really start to, take care of these issues to deal with, the unemployment rates that keep rising because of, a lack of small businesses. And we really believe that, crowd borders, people who make a difference, is, what a crowd border stands for. And, we've started to see, the adoption of this with people joining the site, and it's truly amazing, to be honest with you, to see. I've seen 3 or 4 people, put on their description on their profile that their profession is crowd border. And I've never met these people before in my life, but still they've seen what we're trying to do here, and they've gone, oh, okay, if I have to define myself in a way of something, it should be helping out others and, getting involved in businesses, whether it's on a local or a global scale. And that's really why I think why, is because people make things happen, and that's what we're about, is community and putting people together, and not so much, hey, check out this investment opportunity, check out this. We'll just put you guys together, and naturally people will build things. And that's the way civilization started, and that's why we have the brilliant world that we do today,
Yeah, I think that's brilliant. That's a really exciting way to view the world. Well, Danny, really appreciate you taking the time to be with us today. Why don't you take just a minute and tell people how they can connect and engage with you, how they can learn more, so that this isn't the end of a conversation, but the beginning.
Well, it's the best way. It's like I said, Crowd Borders is what we call the first social investing network. So it's a full-on social network. Join Crowd Borders. I'm on there every day. It's lots of fun. And connect with me on there. Add me, and I'm part of certain districts and areas. So join the districts I'm in and join the conversations we're having there. Is the crowd boards, as people are donating to, is that's really the best way to connect, because it's pretty much what I get to use every day. It's kind of fun having your own social network sometimes. But I message people every day on there, helping them out with asking me questions, and we just really find that, that personal touch, which we have the pleasure of being able to do at the moment, just having started, is really what we focus on. So if anybody has any questions, not only with Texas, obviously Shares in Texas is going to be up, but whether, is across the world and different states that obviously we're looking on getting into as pretty much time permits. But as crowd borders would be the best way to go about that.
Fantastic. Well, Danny, thank you very much for taking the time to be with us today. I wish you every success in what you're doing, and look forward to catching up with you again sometime in the future.
I really appreciate it, Devin. Thanks a lot, everyone.
All righty. Let's do some good.